Hey, besties. Welcome to episode 4. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about the power of letting go. In this lifetime, we all have a story to tell. We all been through things. We all have problems, and we all have issues. But one thing I realized about holding on to things that we've been through is that not only does it hinder our growth, but it also hinders the relationships around us. Growing up, when I didn't have anybody to talk to, or I didn't have anyone to support me, anyone that believed me, I became toxic. I was so traumatized. I didn't know what else to do with it. I held on to all that pain, all that hurt for as long as I can remember until I fell into depression. When I fell into depression, it lasted for 12 years. All the trauma started from when I was 12 years old. And 12 years later, at the age of 24, going into 25, I was depressed. I was so depressed. I just was feeling so sorry for myself because I couldn't let go of all that happened to me. I was unhealed, so what was I really supposed to do? I didn't talk to a therapist. I only really had myself. I didn't have the support that I needed. So it was really just me. As much as I talked to friends, they still didn't even really know what was going on. Even certain family members, they had no clue. But I mean, when someone is deeply in pain and you carry the weight so well, how can you assume that I'm okay when you don't even know how heavy the weight actually is? It used to hurt my feelings when nobody saw my tears. Because when I became angry, everybody only reacted to how I was reacting, but they never asked what triggered the reaction. And it was hard to accept, and it was hard to keep going because no matter what, I was just so depressed. I was so down about everything. All the people that are around me, I had to think to myself, who are these people? And why do I feel so alone? And I'm surrounded by so many of them. But then again, when I realized in the long run, those people weren't even for me. A lot of the people that I was surrounded by were just as toxic and just as unhealed as I was. Because some of the times the way they treated me, it was unhinged. And then when I played back or when I did something that they didn't like, all hell would break loose. I was the bad guy in their story. Now, as I'm healing, I don't mean I don't mind being the bad guy in anybody's story because at the end of the day, this is my story to tell. When I first came out and spoke out on my dad, the whole world was coming down on me. A lot of people ask questions about why I'm coming out about it now. Why am I say something now? Why is this even being brought up? And that's the problem with this world because we sweep things under the rug and we don't like to talk about it because this is normalized. And this is how these behaviors develop. This is how people become the way that they are. But then again, it's easier said than done that we should let it go. It's really not that easy to let things go, but it does more harm holding on to it than letting it go because all that weight, all that baggage you're carrying around on your shoulders, it's only weighing you down and it's only weighing you down and digging a deeper hole. That's why when it gets dark, it gets really dark. And in that darkness, there's nobody there but you. Being in that rabbit hole for all those years, it was just me. There was nobody else there to hold my hand and walk me through it. The only person that was there was God. No matter how much times God was trying to speak to me, I didn't hear him. I was too busy dancing with the devil. because anything that the devil brought to my attention, I believed it. I fell for it. And it became my reality. When my mom used to talk about how much it was my fault and how I destroyed the family and I freed myself from the prison, I believed her. And I believed her so much, I really believed that it was my fault. I should have never said anything. I broke the family apart. And it's not going to get any better than this. I used to think to myself, I wish I didn't say anything because now look what's happening. And it's not even like anyone really knew like that, but people knew. And she was mad every time someone new popped up and heard something. And she'd always say, why would you tell them that? And, she would get mad. And as I got older, I realized, like, it's so common that these things happen in families. And a lot of the times, the victim is blamed for it. It's either we're too fast, we're too prime, we wanted it, we asked for it, or whatever the excuses that they made up. And they don't understand that there are predators out there. And even if they are aware of that, they know because it either happened to them or they know someone it happened to, or whatever the story is. It's really unfortunate that it takes for you to be an adult to learn the hard way. You go through so many relationships, so many friendships, and you don't understand why it doesn't work out. But one thing that I realize is when you meet people, we're here to experience people in this lifetime. And you never know what it is or where you're at until you meet that reflection of you. When you meet someone, you meet them at the phase you're at in life. So you see, if you're traumatized, you're hurt, and you're in pain, you're going to meet someone that on the other end that is just like you. You might not see it, you might not recognize it, but that's what trauma bonding is. When you trauma bond with someone, you think that they're meant for you, they're perfect for you, and then when chaos starts to erupt, you don't understand what has gone wrong. And then they start to blame you for things that they're also doing because you're a reflection of each other. And when you finally decide that you don't want to be that person anymore, you get tired, you get sick and tired of being the way that you are. That's when the real healing starts. But let me tell you, healing is just as frustrating because when you start to heal, you start to realize how many things you tolerated and how many things you allowed that you didn't even deserve. And people don't even understand that. People don't even see that. And people need to also notice that we're human beings. When you start to recognize that you had no boundaries, you had no voice, you just allowed everything to happen because you were too busy people pleasing. You were too busy trying to ensure that you weren't the problem. Whole time, these people are the ones that caused the problems and pointed the finger at you. But when you start to heal and you look back at everything, that's when you learn to set boundaries. That's when you learn to love yourself. That's when you learn that it's okay. You can forgive them and accept an apology you'll never get, an apology that you deserve. It's bad enough that we go through life and we expect people to apologize to us. But when you grow up in an environment that made you sick, it's not something that's common. It's something that's so uncommon. And you feel like, I never deserved this. Why did I go through this? Why did this happen to me? But it happened, unfortunately. And you know what? Once you continue to go down memory lane about what happened to you, that is when it starts to hinder your growth because you cannot move on from it. You just keep remembering what that person did or what that person said. But even if you don't even remember those things, you remember how it made you feel. And in this lifetime, a lot of people are going to make you feel some type of way and they'll never apologize for it. But we have to learn to forgive them in advance and even forgive ourselves so we're able to move on. Because the longer you hold on to the knife, you will eventually bleed out. And when you bleed out, you die. Some people are so far gone because they hold on to things and they can't let go. And this is why the world is the way it is because we hold on to things. We live in the past so much. When it's time to be in the present moment, we're living with our past emotions. However, your boss made you feel, however, your coworker made you feel, your sister, your mom, your dad, your cousin, your aunt, your uncle, your brother, it doesn't even matter. How all those people made you feel is really how whatever you think of them, you give it power in your mind to feel that same exact thing again when they do something else. So it's like you're remembering what they did in the past, and then when they do something again, it resonates. And then it gives that power to be like, okay, and you feel some type of way all over again. You get angry, you get sad, you're annoyed, you're irritated, you're all these things. And you won't understand it until you start to get older or you start to mature and you actually start to let go. I never thought that I would be in therapy. Never. I didn't trust anybody because when I was younger and the social workers used to come around, I had told the social worker something in confidence, and she went back and she told my mom. And my mom, she blew up on me. And crazy enough, she was the same one, the social worker was the same one that said to me, oh, you need to learn to talk to someone because you're gonna bottle things up inside and then eventually explode. And I used to look at her crazy because it's like, how do you expect me to talk to someone if you just ruined that chance for me? I told you something in confidence. You went back and you told some my mom, and it just made me not want to trust anybody with anything that was going on with me. Man, I'm telling you, that hurt my feelings so bad because I really felt like I had no one to talk to. The whole time, the only person that was there was God Himself. But like I said earlier, I wasn't listening to Him. No matter how much his voice was beaming through my mind and beaming through my spirit, I just rather danced with the devil, which was unfortunate. But I mean, shoot, when you're walking in darkness, that's all you know. You don't hear anything else but what the devil's saying. But anyway, besides the point, as I started to heal and do the shadow work, I decided that I want to dive deeper into my rooted emotions, my rooted feelings. There's so many feelings that I had buried inside, that I suppressed inside, that I never talked about. There's things that I've talked about that's common that I've told people that what they know, but there's also a lot that they didn't know. So when I started to open up with my therapist and talk to her about it, she helped me break down certain things, certain behaviors, and how I was feeling at the time. And baby, when I tell you, it helped me in ways I've never imagined because I've never openly spoke about it. I've never openly told anyone about it. But to be able to talk to her without judgment, oh my goodness, it made my life so much easier. The weight that has been lifted off my shoulders, it has been so amazing, and I've never felt better because she gives me strategies to use to also help navigate when certain emotions come up or when my past self comes up. And honestly, that type of emotional intelligence, it's you really have to watch yourself like a hawk. Because if you don't watch yourself like a hawk, if you don't manage or control those emotions when they do show up, it will ruin a lot of relationships, even with yourself, because you don't have confidence enough in yourself or trust in yourself that you are able to control what's erupted inside. And a lot of times it's not even about your external environment, it's more internal. And honestly, letting go, I didn't know how much power there was in it until I started to finally let go and release what was destroying me inside. I'm telling you, all of that baggage that I've been carrying with me for all these years, mind you, I'm 30 years old. And after I literally hit rock bottom last year, is when this year, as this year came around, is when I actually started to really sit with myself and talk to a therapist. I've been doing the shadow work previously, but that's not enough because sometimes you need a little more than that. You can do all the work you can to help heal yourself, yes, but sometimes you need someone else on the outside looking in to help you dig a little deeper, to break apart some things, to peel back some layers for you to really understand yourself. There's a lot of us out there that are going through hell right now and that are in the storm right now. Sometimes it's not always karma and it's not always the devil. It's you. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I was one of those people. It wasn't always the devil and it wasn't always karma. It was me. It took a long time to admit that because I didn't understand. But now that I'm getting to understand myself and to know myself, I was in my way the whole time. Some of the time, yes, the devil did show up. He challenged me a lot. And some of the time, I did receive karma. Because as I said a lot of times before, I wasn't always the greatest person. Still have my flaws. And I had my ways. But now I'm learning to deal with them. I'm facing my demons. And now I'm unstoppable at this point. Because whenever the enemy shows up, I give him no opportunity, no chance, no time, no dear to ruin my peace. Because my peace was stolen from me at a very young age. My happiness was stolen from me at a very young age. I was not happy for the longest time in my life. I was so unhappy. I masked everything. When people used to ask me if I'm okay, I used to lie. I lied to myself for so long. I acted like I was okay and I never was. And it's crazy because nobody noticed. Everybody just assumed because I was so strong that I was totally fine. I had nobody to sit me down and really ask me how I'm doing. Nobody. And that's a lot. That's hard to process because that's how I knew I believed that I really didn't have anyone but myself and God. It's hard to accept that. But once you start to leave people behind and leave people alone, you start to embrace how peaceful it actually is because you don't need them. If they were there for you the way that they were supposed to be, trust me, you would have never had to climb out of the darkness yourself. But even so, nobody can save you. You can only save yourself because what happened to you is really on you now at this point. You're responsible for your healing. You're responsible for growing up. You can't live to be miserable. You can't live and think you don't deserve to be happy because you're so stuck up on what happened to you when you were 5, when you were 12, when you were 15, when you were 30, when you were 40. It doesn't even matter the age at this point. We are in charge of our happiness. Who says that we don't deserve to be loved? Who says that we don't deserve to be happy, to live with joy, to be at peace? Why do we like to be toxic? Why do we like the chaos? The world has already corrupted itself. So why is it okay for us to live like that? A lot of us are so mad at the world. Why? Because of what happened to us? What we've been through? I mean, come on, give me a break. I get it. I'm not being inconsiderate of your feelings. But give yourself a break too. Be gentle with yourself and accept what you've been through and learn to move on and let it go. I'm not telling you to get over it, but I'm telling you you can get through it. Because you can never get over something that happened to you. It will live with you forever. But even if you can't go get over it, you can live with it. Because whatever happened back then, we can't change it. That's out of our control. But we can change our now. We can change our present moment. We can change the narrative. So, what is wrong with letting go? Absolutely nothing. I'm telling you, once you let go of that knife, you eventually stop bleeding. And when you stop bleeding, it turns into a scar. No matter how many scars you have, it tells your story. A lot of us never made it out. A lot of us didn't survive because we held on to things that we couldn't let go of. And eventually it killed us. Because really, it's not stress that kills you, it's your reaction. It's how you respond to things that kill you. So, whatever happened to you back then, best believe you hanging on to that, you holding on to that, it's stressing you to the point where anything that happens to you, you believe you deserve it. You believe you deserve to be treated the way you are. You believe that nothing good is ever going to happen for you. That's really the level where you're at. Some people like the attention of being broken. I don't know what it does for them, but it ignites something in them that they're comfortable in. But I don't know how you can be comfortable in being miserable and trying to get other people to stoop down to your level. Because in this today's age, a lot of people are valuing their peace. A lot of people rather not deal or tolerate anything that's going to drain them. Because when they look back at all of the chaos that they've been through, they prefer their peace. So I really pray that whoever is watching, whoever is listening, whatever it is that you're going through, that you've been through, it's going to be okay. And you're going to be okay. Every day is a new day, and we all are given a choice every single day. The reason why you even made it this far is because you have a purpose to be here. God didn't continuously pulling you out of the darkness just for you to sit here and be mad and, and miserable about what's going on or what happened to you. Our bodies are not meant to for fear, for all those negative emotions. Our bodies are meant for peace, for joy, for love. How could you not want that for yourself? You should want better. You should want to be able to move on, move forward, because it's okay. If God forgives, why can't you? Why hold on to things that's going to affect you in the long run? It will show up in the long run, no matter how deep you bury it. It shapes your behavior and how you act. If you don't deal with it now, some of my unwanted behaviors, because I didn't deal with it has shown up and it has affected my relationships. But now that I have someone in my life that's not emotionally attached to my problems, it's helping me want to do better. And now I'm learning the art of letting go with no problem because I know I want better for myself and I'm doing better. I'm in a space now where I can naturally say, I'm happy. I can finally say I'm happy because happiness is a mood and peace is a mindset. And that's all I want for myself is peace and happiness and tranquility. Nothing else. Nothing more, nothing less. I want to be able to respond with love. I want to be able to receive love. And I want to be able to give love without any resistance. I want to be so angelic. I'm tired of being this hard body girl. I'm tired of that era. I don't want to be there anymore. I just want to be soft and just love, and live my life and enjoy life to the fullest. All that was taken from me back then. And I'm not going to allow it to control me now. I'm moving on. I'm moving forward. And I couldn't be happier. Today I did something that I never thought I would do. I had I have over 4 journals, and the 3 journals is all based on my past. And when I started journaling, it was in 2019. And 5 years ago, when I went through those journals, I cried because I couldn't believe that's where I was 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, even a year ago. And when I read some of the pages, I shook my head and I said, I don't live there anymore. I'm not what I went through. I'm not that girl anymore. My new journal, though, I can tell you, there's so much positivity in there. I'm so proud of myself for every step that I've been taking to get to this point in my life. It feels so easy, but it wasn't. It was challenging. It had its ups and downs because when I had my up days, I was really up. But when I was down bad, but it's all a part of healing. And I'm telling you, it's worth every step. So let go and give yourself grace because you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be loved. You are seen. You are heard. You are wanted. It might feel complex because other people make you feel all the opposite. But when you start to love on yourself and fall in love with life, you know you're very much deserving. So I really pray that all of you find the healing within yourself to let go and move forward with life. I love you all, and I thank you so much for listening. Tune in next week for episode 5.
Like, comment, and subscribe to share your thoughts on this episode.